Good afternoon. Today is November 3rd, 2021. Time is just after 3 in the afternoon Central Time. This is an update on some space weather that is ongoing in our on Earth at this time. We have just seen the passage of a coronal mass ejection. We've been anticipating number of CMEs to impact the Earth right around this time, and we just saw the CME passage here over the last few minutes or so. You can see right here the spikes in the solar wind. You can see it was down to the 500 kilometer per second range. Now it's spiking to almost 700 kilometers per second. You can see the solar wind density has also increased quite a bit. The front of the CME is, it's not terribly, the wind is not terribly dense here. You can see it's up to like 10 or whatever. That's not, I would say that's roughly low-ish density. Or low to moderate, so not terribly dense, but moderately fast. You can see the magnetic field in the horizontal direction has been disturbed as well. You can see it was down to a BT of 2 and has since spiked up to 13.38. And the BZ is spiking as we speak. You can see it was largely near 0 and now it has suddenly dropped. It's not really that strong of a drop in the BZ at this time. It's mostly a minus 6.55. That's still south, and that's decent for high latitudes, not so great for mid latitudes. We kind of want to see it more like a minus 10 or lower. That's kind of what I've gathered for auroras in the mid latitude region. But so far it's looking pretty good. This is a moderately strong CME impact, and this is from, again, I just wanted to mention, this is from Space Weather Live. I think it's a wonderful site to monitor. Spaceweatherlive.com, and you can see here on their Twitter feed they just said moderate CME impact with a speed of 615 kilometers per second and a IMF of 12 nanoteslas was observed. You can see it's actually a little bit stronger now. Now we're up to 13.38. So this is the initial shock wave of the CME, likely to, hiccuping at the moment. It is looking likely it's going to cause some geomagnetic storms here pretty soon, especially possibly starting before the sun goes down. But this is looking really promising at this time. Some aurora potential may exist across North America this evening. Not across entire North America. I'm mostly saying for Canada, Alaska, and possibly the northern lower 48. So we're under a G2 storm watch for this evening. We'll kind of see what happens. I know they issued a warning for KP of 4 with this initial passage. I want to see the data get a little bit better first, but just kind of wanted to point out here, for those who are interested in viewing the Northern Lights, it'll be mostly, mostly across Canada and maybe the some of the northern lower 48 states. But if you do want to go see the Northern Lights tonight, you want to monitor this data. Right now it's looking really good. You want to see these values elevated, you want to see the BT elevated, and the BZ, you want to see it south, and that's what we're seeing now. I want to see it a little bit more south. It kind of looks like it may head that direction. It's a little bit early to say. Since this is the initial passage, it tends to be very wildly varied. But if we start to see a very sustained southward BZ, especially as it's approaching or getting lower than minus 10, that would be some really good data for the lower 48 in terms of seeing the Northern Lights tonight. So this is what you want to monitor. Again, elevated values, like you want a speed that's over 600 kilometers per second, and you want to see you want to see the BZ remain to the south as much as possible. That'll maximize your chances of seeing the Northern Lights tonight. I just wanted to put this out here. This is kind of new for my channel for the most part, so if you guys like this video, if you want to see more solar storm or solar activity updates on this channel, please let me know. I would absolutely love to make more videos like this. And one more thing to point out before I go here. The data is measured by the Discover satellite. You can see right here. Typically, this gives us about a half hour to an hour of lead time. During geomagnetic storms, it's more like a half an hour because the solar wind speed is a bit more elevated. But it typically gives us some lead time as to how the Earth's magnetic field is going to behave based on the solar wind. So, for example, here's Earth right now. This is where we are. All this means this is all solar wind that's already passed the Earth, and this is what's hitting us now. This little data ahead of it is the solar wind parameters that were measured by the Discover satellite, and this stuff has yet to hit the Earth. So these elevated speeds that you're seeing here, the 691, has yet to hit the Earth. So if you see a spike in the wind speed, in the solar wind speed, and you see the BZ going to the south, and it's ahead of this little line that says Earth, that means that solar wind is incoming, and it looks like the geomagnetic field is about to be disturbed, and you want to head out there so you can be in position for when or if the northern lights show up. So that's kind of what I wanted to point out there. Right now, it's looking good. This is a good initial strike. Hopefully the data continues to look good tonight. If it continues to look good, I would say there's a good potential to see the northern lights across high latitudes and possibly some, like I said, the northern lower 48 in the U.S. might have a good shot of seeing the northern lights tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll see you next time.